I don't know about you, but I get really tired of seeing those light leaks that are just shoved on top of a clip with no kind of thought towards how good it looks or anything like that. Like this. Like, what does that achieve? What does that do? There's nothing there. There's just this one solid shot, and there's that light just coming along the screen for no reason, I guess? It's so stupid. It's important to remember that there are certain things you should do with light leaks and certain things you shouldn't do. So I'm gonna go over a few of my tips and a few of my methods that I use to use light leaks well. Okay, the first thing to do when you want to use a light leak is to basically look at the footage and establish what kind of feeling the footage is. You know, what kind of feeling do you want to give your audience in this moment? This is one of the things that anybody can do. You know, this makes it sound like I'm trying to be an artiste director. This isn't that. Any good editor should do this. Any good editor should look at the footage and go, hold on, what is the feeling that I'm trying to give my audience here? If we look at this sequence, for example, that I've made here, we've got these very slow paced clips of beautiful sun going through nature, skip ahead a bit, and then it goes to this clip, slow motion again of these people, it's sun, it's slow, it's calm, it's something like that. So what that means is, when I'm looking through my light leaks, I might not want to have this one, for example, because it's quite flashy and fast, you know, I don't know if that would fit. And that leads me on to my next point. So establishing what kind of light leak to use. Maybe this one wouldn't fit because it's quite fast, you know, it's kind of short and spiky almost. It wouldn't necessarily fit this nice slow transition that we have here. So I'm thinking maybe if we try this clip. There we go, that's a bit slower. It's a bit more matching the slow pace and calmness of this sequence we have down here. Another thing to consider is the start and end point of the transition itself. So it starts black, goes to the light leak, and then ends black. Sometimes you can get light leaks that start with an immediate white screen. Like this clip here. The first frame of the leak is a bright white screen. Now that wouldn't really fit here again because I need something that goes slowly into it and slowly out of it. I want to hide that cut, or maybe not hide, but I want to ease that cut. I want to lubricate the cut, if you catch my drift. There at the start over here we have the sun shining through the leaves. Now a light leak could fit there. Find an out point there, drag it on, and I want to put this one over the cut because that's what we found earlier. The next thing to remember is there is more than just one blending mode. Some people think that once you've highlighted a clip to go on top, you can go on effect controls and choose screen as a blend mode as if that's the only one. Yeah, that does look good. Screen will effectively get rid of all the black in the image. So for something like this, that works well. But there are other blending modes. For example, lighten. What else we got? Color dodge, that's quite intense. So if we play it, you can see almost quite, it adds an intensity to it. That could work, you never know. Linear dodge, now that's quite interesting. Again, it's more kind of like intense but cleaner intense. Let's stick with screen. I think screen looks best for this one. Okay, the next step is adding the real precision. Okay, so if I just delete my marker here so I can start again with this. What I want to do is find the exact frame when most of the screen is covered. That's going to be the point that you're aiming for the most intense part of the light leak. Okay, so if I go forwards, that might be there, I think. Go forwards a bit more. I think it's about there. So I add the marker and it appears down here as well. I can go back to the timeline. If I make this layer invisible for the moment, and what I want to do is find where the sun is at its most intense. So just after it's burst through, a little bit after, so a few frames after that is where the light leak will really work. So about there. So now I move this clip to match that. So if I make these layers visible again, there we go. I'll do the same here. So double click, find where it's most intense, where most of the screen is covered. So frame, maybe there. I mean, look, it's completely white. So M for marker. Now if I go back to the timeline and it's on the transition here, so I want to move this clip to the left so it all matches up. So now this should look pretty cool. Nice. The next point is to really fine tune the opacity of the light leak layer, okay? Because sometimes it being so bright can be quite intense and it might not fit. For example, this light leak here, if I go back, it becomes too white. It covers the screen completely and it's just kind of silly, I think. If I now get my pen tool, I can click there to make a point there, and then make another one here to drag down, and then another one after to drag down. So then the light leak will start lower opacity and then suddenly hit maximum opacity for that one transitional frame. There we go. That looks so much better in my opinion. Tidy it up even more by making the edges, the beginning and end of the clip, go from 0 to the opacity, and then the opacity to 0. You can do the same here as well. So if I go back to this one, P, the transitional frame there, drag down, and then I've done the same over this end as well. If you find that the color of the light leak that it came with just doesn't fit, you know, sometimes it's a bright white or a bright green or a bright orange or something like that. You know, like on this, I might find that this light leak is a bit too yellow. If I go on the pure clip, it's yellow, it's green. I don't know if that would fit. Something that I do quite often to achieve this is to desaturate the clip like that. So now on here, this has turned white and black and gray. Then I go back onto my effects and search for tint. Bring that on. Then within here, I can change the white to, let's say, a blue. Maybe that would fit better. Maybe like a teal kind of color, something like that. Maybe that would fit. I mean, maybe that looks better. I think that looks quite cool. Let's have a play and see. Yeah, I mean, it's different. I mean, maybe that would look good, I don't know, but that gives you the option to, it changes the color of the light leak. It means that you're not just adding in a bog standard, oh, I found this on the internet, donk, and then I've got a light leak that everyone else has got in my YouTube video. No, this is something that I've customized now and I've made this light leak my own. Now, let's say I wanted to continue this light leak effect throughout this entire clip of the trees, right? What I could do, if I was a basic bitch, is I could just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, like that. So I've got the same clip going again and again and again, and it would look boring. You can see it's just looping up here. It does not look very good at all, right? So something that I can do if I delete those is I will copy paste once, and I can then reverse the clip, maybe then slow it down as well. Now I'm going to have two light leaks on top of each other that will look different. Something else you can do is with another one on top of that, you could speed it up. And turn it upside down, up to rotation 180. There we go. Now you've got three light leak clips that are all the same original clip, but layered in this way means that they don't look the same. I mean, if you really wanted to go technical again, change the color of them individually. So change the color of this top one to a darker blue. This middle one, hell, change that to a kind of pale pink. That might look quite cool. Nice. See, again, it's a way of making it my own. I've matched this entire visual effect of light sequences to match the clip. And maybe the last thing I'd like to share is this other idea I have that I do sometimes, is when I find that the light leak itself is just not enough and I feel like that ends too quickly, I will find another stock clip that is just not a light leak at all. So for example, this dust cloud here. It can add another element of atmospheric feeling to the transition. So if I make an endpoint there, and I think that's enough, then I bring that down, put on top of everything here. Effect controls, change from normal to screen. Like I did before, fine tune the opacity by getting my pen tool and going down there. Maybe bring the entire opacity down as well because that dust is a bit too intense. And again, let's do the same effect I did before where I go to desaturation. So now the dust is desaturated. Then again, get the tint effect and now change the whites to, let's say, orange to really match this background image here. So now it blends a little bit more. Yes, there we go. So now the dust particles themselves are orange to match this sunset. Okay, that looks quite cool. Okay, so let's render and see what it all looks like. yes, those dust effects really add something, I feel. It's something different, you know, it's colourful light leaks. And then the dust, it really brings a kind of atmospheric feeling to the whole thing. So my final tip is just make sure you always have a stock of these available. You know, when you download 4K Lightstreak Whiteporn.mp4, don't bin it, you know, keep them forever and make sure you've got a stock of these video clips to use for any project in the future. Thank you everybody. If that was a help to you, then I'd love to know, so please tell me below. And who knows, maybe I'll do more of these tutorials. I quite like them, you know, so tell me below if it's a help and I will come back next week. My name's George and this is Jam Punch.